In 2024, Bloober Team was given the opportunity to not only remake, but reimagine one of Konami's most prestigious titles, Silent Hill 2. Bloober Team nearly doubled the length of the 2001 classic, but somehow managed to stay faithful to the original by capturing the horror, atmosphere, and oppressive nature perfectly throughout. As important as Silent Hill is to Konami, it pales in comparison to the hallowed ground that Metal Gear Solid walks upon, especially considering how the relationship with Kojima ended over a decade ago after the release of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain in 2015. Konami clearly understands this and takes a very restrained approach to remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater and manages to breathe new life into a 21-year-old game. This is part of the reason behind naming it Delta, which means variation, as that's what it is, a slight variation of a classic. The more important and second definition will come a little later. The end result is a very approachable game for people who have never played Metal Gear or this particular entry, but for existing and very passionate fans of the series, there might not be enough justification for this purchase. Before we jump into the video, I just want to take a quick second to say thank you. I understand that life is busy and you have a lot of options on YouTube, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the video. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is widely considered to be the best game in the series, only behind the PS1 classic Metal Gear Solid from 1998, which catapulted the series into another echelon. Konami could have approached Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater in the same way that they approached Silent Hill 2, but I don't think the risk would have been worth the reward. The story remains untouched and is exactly the way that it was in 2004, word for word and cutscene for cutscene. You're in the middle of the alternate history Cold War, and Snake must sneak into the Soviet enemy territory and rescue Sokolov, Defector, and Superweapon Architect. Every original plot point and story beat happens exactly as you remember it, and if you've never played it, the less you know the better. The voice acting is all from the original PlayStation 2 release. Every single cutscene is here, which according to IGN accounts for about a quarter of the playtime, or just a little over 4 hours, as they recently broke down how much of Kojima's games are cutscenes. As for what is new, Metal Gear Solid Delta has remade Snake Eater using Unreal Engine 5, which looks stunning at most times and definitely increases the immersion with a more realistic atmosphere. The grass is more natural and not just in clumps for hiding. The environment has a more realistic look as edges are less polygonal, and different elements of nature blend together much more seamlessly. Furthering a heightened level of atmosphere, the battle damage system has also seen a modern upgrade. Snake's body and clothes now will show wear and tear based on damage. Scars will appear upon skin, and tears will appear upon clothes. These are very little details, but things like this can all add up to a much more immersive experience. Most importantly, the controls have been modernized to feel more in line with later releases in the series. However, if you do still want to experience it as it was, the original controls are also still available. As much time and effort as Konami put into modernizing Metal Gear Solid 3 with new controls and updated visuals, all of which greatly increased atmosphere and immersion, it was shocking that enemy intelligence felt stuck in 2004. With a complete overhaul of the game engine, it would have been a perfect opportunity to fine-tune the AI, but instead it feels woefully inconsistent. There are times when two guards are right beside each other and I shoot one in the face with a tranquilizer dart and the other one barely reacts. This is also extremely juxtaposed to other times when my camouflage level is high, I'm extremely well concealed, but the enemy spots me instantly and sets off an alarm immediately. These moments worked counterproductive to the immersion and atmosphere that all of the modern changes did. As for the other definition of Delta, it could also mean the point in a river that diverges before heading into the sea. Metal Gear Solid Delta is clearly the point that marks a new direction for the series. Konami is a very profitable business and they understand how valuable the Metal Gear IP is. What they tried with Metal Gear Survive wasn't what fans wanted. The fans want tactical espionage action that the series was built on. What Metal Gear Solid Delta proves is that transitioning to a new engine is possible as it retains the spirit of the series. It also might prove that fans are still highly interested in the series after the departure of Kojima, but what it fails to prove is if the team, with much of the senior leadership gone, can produce original content, because there is nothing new about Metal Gear Solid Delta. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater has been released numerous times since its original back in 2004 on the PlayStation 2. From the expanded Subsistence in 2006 to the Metal Gear Solid HD Collection in 2011, the 3DS in 2012, and most recently, the Master Collection Volume 1 in 2023. If you played Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater before at any of these possible opportunities, I don't think there's enough justification for a purchase, but that will depend on how passionate you are about the series. If you're a casual fan of the series and happen to miss out on Snake Eater, then Delta is a must and is the best way to play. And if you've never played a game in the series, Delta is also a great entry point with its shorter length, modernized controls, and relatively straightforward story for an immersive experience. Judging Metal Gear Solid on its own merits as a remake and not the original product, it brings Snake Eater into the modern age, but ultimately plays it very safe. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, the biggest thing that you can do to help is to leave a comment. I hope to see you again in the next video, and until next time, be good to your fellow gamer, but more importantly, be better to your fellow human.